My next guest today is Les Jordan, the artistic director and founder of North Central Ballet here in North Texas. Last year, during the pandemic, North Central Ballet drew national attention with their outdoor performance of Tchaikovsky's The Nutcracker. And this year, it is back at Meadowmere Park in Grapevine, December 3rd, 4th, and 5th. But before next weekend's performance, today they're kicking off the holiday season. North Central Ballet is presenting Nutcracker Short and Sweet. It's an afternoon tea party with a Nutcracker excerpt at the Palace Theater in Grapevine. Les joins me on the phone right now to tell us all about the big event coming up. Les, welcome to the program.
Hello, Anna. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, I am so excited to have you on the show today, Les, because last year I thought it was genius to do the Nutcracker in the park, outdoors. Because of the pandemic, it was going to be the safest way to go on with the show, so to speak. Was it your idea to take the Nutcracker outdoors?
It was my idea, and it's kind of funny the way it happened. I was out having morning coffee at the lake, very, very frustrated that we weren't going to be able to present our 26th year of Nutcracker, and I could not go a year without this tradition. It's been a part of my life since I was a kid. So as I'm walking along the lake and enjoying the morning, I thought to myself, there has to be a way to do this. There has to be a way to move it outside maybe. And then I started thinking really funny thoughts. I thought, all right, I'll get on Amazon and I'll buy one of those inflatable movie screens because now there's digital scenery that we can download. I'll do that. I'll rent a stage and I'll put it in front of a blow-up movie screen, and we'll have a whole thing where people bring their blankets and their quilts and sit in the park, and at least we can do part of the show. And then I thought to myself, well, that sounds kind of dumb. And then after that, I thought, all right, we'll do it at a drive-in movie theater. We'll shoot that digital scenery on a screen. We'll dance on the stage in front of it, and people can sit in their cars and be socially distant. Well, I ran that by some people and my old mentor, and that sounded like a pretty good idea. So I called the movie theater and I left a message, and I received a response from them. And then I sent more details via email. I never got a response back. And I thought, all right, well, that's the universe telling me that's not going to happen. Back to square one in the park. I called the city of Grapevine for permitting. And this man answered the phone, and I said, I have a lot of questions on exits and fire code and all that on how to do an event like this. And he said, well, I'd be happy to help you. We hung up. About 5 minutes later, he called me back from Parks and Recreation in Grapevine, and he said, what are you trying to do? I'm trying to bring this show. And he said, would you be interested in partnering with the city of Grapevine Parks and Rec? I move you to a different location, Meadowmere Park, that's set up to be socially distanced, and we put this on together. So I said to him, what does that look like? And he said, I don't know. What does it look like to you? Here we are the following year.
That is amazing. I know you got national attention, and the local response was incredible. And so now the city of Grapevine is saying, let's do it again.
Absolutely. Bigger and better. What they did was they had done their Sunset Live concert series out there, and that's cover bands on a stage. And they had a brilliant idea to go into the park and paint on the ground with spray paint 10 by 10 squares. And in those 10 by 10 squares, you could have 6 people, and then the squares were 10 feet apart, socially distanced. So we were able to have 1,200 people a night in the park for that performance.
Now, this year it's happening December 3rd, 4th, and 5th, Meadowmere Park in Grapevine. Do you have to have the social distance squares this year, or can we pack the park?
This year we can pack the park, and of course masks are completely optional. People can do whatever they feel is correct for them and for their family. So we have the food trucks coming in early. I have 4 food trucks. I have a cash bar set up. Of course, we have our famous Nutcracker boutique that's going to be there. I have a backdrop where families can take pictures of their children in front of Nutcracker. And then on top of that, I have the Chick-fil-A cow from the Chick-fil-A store in Grapevine coming to greet the children as they walk in.
Is he going to wear a tutu?
Well, I don't know. I should get on that. I should call him and ask him if he wants to put that cow in a tutu. We can make that happen.
Absolutely. I think that would be adorable.
Well, I think the point I'm trying to make is just in 1 year's time, it's turned into such an enormous Grapevine Christmas capital affair. And so much community involvement. We have the chamber involved. We have Parks and Rec. We have the Palace Theater. We have Convention and Visitors Bureau. It's so family-oriented that everybody wants to come and have that quintessential piece of Christmas, which is, of course, the Nutcracker.
Yeah, you know, Les, I remember when I was little going to see the Nutcracker right before Christmas, and it being such a magical experience. Why do you think it's become such a Christmas tradition?
Well, I really feel like it's quintessentially Christmassy as mince pies, fir trees, and Christmas carols. I've had so many people tell me it just wouldn't be Christmas without the Nutcracker.
For some, the Nutcracker is their introduction to ballet and the arts. And I know you are a big advocate for arts education, Les. In your opinion, why is it so important for children to have access to arts education and to experiences like seeing the Nutcracker in the park?
I have a lot of thoughts on that, actually. Kind of in a nutshell, Nutcracker nutshell. For kids, there's so many aspects of classical ballet. It really dance alone. It improves their physical health. It has many socialization benefits. I think one of the most interesting things for me, I founded the school here in 1993, and the kids I've worked with, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids over those years, when they get up to those higher levels of high school, those kids are so smart and so driven. And research shows that students who have a background in dance tend to score significantly higher on their SATs, and they do a lot better in math and science competitions. And I attribute that completely to the discipline and the regiment and just the repetition of classical ballet and having to learn all of the combinations quickly, having to regurgitate them very quickly, and to have the confidence to go on stage and show those in front of people. It just gives them such a place to become themselves.
I remember when I was in high school and my dad actually kind of forced me into taking theater classes, and then I ended up falling in love with speech and drama and doing one-act plays and duet acting and humorous interpretation and poetry interpretation and being involved in it from my freshman year in high school to my senior year, and knowing that if I did not get good grades, I wouldn't be able to participate in theater really was the motivation that kept my grades up all those years. And I know that was true for a lot of students, whether they were in band or orchestra or choir, that the simple fact that they knew that they had to keep their grades up to take part in those activities meant that they were doing better in school.
Well, and I'm a huge advocate of that, too. And I talk to my kids every single day. I ask them about their homework load, which I don't know about you, but I never had this much homework when I was that age, 14, 15, 16, 17. These kids have so much work to do. And a lot of times they'll come to me and say, hey, do you mind if I do my homework tonight? I really need to do that. I'm the biggest advocate of that. And if their grades fall, we all come into my office. We have a little discussion about how we need to get that back up before we spend 6 nights a week in the studio. So I'm completely pro-education. I think school comes first, and then everything else falls into line.
Let's talk also about that left brain, right brain, and how by being creative, by doing arts education, that stimulates the right side of the brain as well.
Oh, absolutely. You have to be able to be artistic and analytical at the same time. For example, my Waltz of the Flowers is really spectacular. It's a visual feast, not only musically, but costume-wise and patterns on the stage. And it's extraordinarily intricate. So if those kids don't have that analytical skill, they're all going to run into each other, and it's going to be a train wreck. But because they're able to utilize both sides of that, the creative side, the artistic side, because, of course, you're not just looking at mechanics when you're talking about putting a piece on stage. You're teaching artistry. You're teaching emotion. You're teaching them to connect with the audience and the music at the same time. So they have to tell that story. And so I think, that benefit alone not only helps them now at this age, but this is going to carry with them through college and through their career and through the rest of their life.
And it not only helps them academically, but I have seen firsthand how the arts helps young and old alike with their mental health. Les, a friend of mine's daughter was really struggling with depression during the pandemic. Online school just had her feeling so disconnected, and she was in a very, very dark place. We were so worried about her. And this year, she started high school and she got in the band, and it has been transformational. She has bloomed before our eyes. She practices her instrument religiously. The music has made such a difference in her soul, with her grades, just overall. And I'm sure you see that with your ballet company.
Oh, I definitely do. And I'm so thrilled that has been your experience and that she's doing so much better.
My guest once again on the phone is Les Jordan. Les is the artistic director and founder of North Central Ballet here in North Texas, and they are getting ready for another outdoor performance of Tchaikovsky's The Nutcracker, December 3rd, 4th, and 5th at Meadowmere Park in Grapevine. Last year, they took the Nutcracker outdoors because of the pandemic, and due to the tremendous response, the Nutcracker in the Park is back again this year. They've teamed up with the City of Grapevine Parks and Recreation. You're part of them being the Christmas capital of Texas, are you not, Les?
We sure are, and I think that is one of the best things we could ever do because, of course, Nutcracker and Christmas are synonymous.
How long does it take for you to put on this performance? Obviously, you're already in rehearsals. You're between the auditions and the rehearsals. How long does it take to put on the Nutcracker in the Park?
We generally start the 1st of September and rehearse September, October, and, of course, we only have about half of November because we have Thanksgiving in there, and then we're in. That's it. So at this point, you know, the pandemic did good things for people as well as bad things. And for us, it has created so many opportunities for performances. We're literally cranking out a full-length ballet here every 3 months.
Wow.
This Nutcracker, we're performing 9 performances in 3 venues. We've got the Palace Theater. We have the shows in the park. We have Birdville busing in 1,700 kids, I think second graders, on Thursday and Friday mornings to present the show to them. And then the new Hotel Zen in Grapevine asked me if we would do some short performances in third rail at Harvest Hall. So we have 3 there. 2 are open to the public, and 1 is a benefit performance for House of Shine in Grapevine.
What has been the feedback of taking it outdoors? Because a lot of people have seen it in a theater-style setting, indoors, sitting in their seats. But here you have you're doing it under the stars.
We are, literally under the stars, and they love it. They have come to me. Now, it gets cold, but people bring their quilts and their blankets. They bring grandmother and grandfather, aunt and uncle, cousins. It's a huge family affair. They bring their coolers. The adults bring their wine and cheese. The kids have hot chocolate. Everybody's wrapped up, and they literally sit under the stars on the quilt and watch the magic of Tchaikovsky come to life on stage.
Did you see your enrollment at your school go up after last year's outdoor performances?
I did. Kids really want to be involved. And I think that's the wonderful thing about our program. We have never been exclusive, with the exception of the very high-end pieces, Grand Pas de Deux, Waltz of the Flowers, Chinese, Russian, all those pieces that are so famous that the company-level dancers need to perform. We open up our auditions to our entire community for parts like Mice and Soldiers and Party Children and Mother Ginger Children to give kids who aren't in this school, but in other schools all over the place, the opportunity to come together and work as a team and be able to do a ballet like this.
I know that the afternoon tea party today with the Nutcracker excerpts at the Palace Theater in Grapevine is sold out. Obviously, there is a hunger for this type of event, so hopefully you'll do more of those kind of events at the Palace Theater. But for somebody who wants information on tickets for the Nutcracker in the Park coming up December 3rd, 4th, and 5th, where should they go?
Well, it's very easy. Just simply go to www.nutcrackertickets, plural, Nutcracker Tickets with an S, .com.
Are there any discounts available for big groups?
We don't have a discount system available for large groups, but we do have some different organizations that we can work with. We have a program that we set aside for the Girl Scouts that we offer an educational packet and a discount for groups like that. So they could definitely get in touch with me, and we can see what we can work out, of course.
Oh, does that mean that the Girl Scouts can get a badge for taking part?
Absolutely does. The Nutcracker patch.
I want that Nutcracker patch.
It's pretty cool.
Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker in the Park, December 3rd, 4th, and 5th at Meadowmere Park in Grapevine. The story of Clara, the Mouse King, and the Sugar Plum Fairy, all with Tchaikovsky's beautiful score. Tickets on sale at nutcrackertickets.com. Find out more about North Central Ballet at northcentralballet.com. Les Jordan, thank you so much for being on the program.
Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much for having me.